Going on, everybody? Welcome back. Get to see a little bit of my failed attempts at gaming, but I try. So I think the last time we were talking about the latest feature to add to the app. I was gonna be adding the recurring tasks. We're working on the form. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, so we were working on the form. So we go to the form here. We're working on adding the recurring, and then I was looking at the JSON. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna use JSON obviously, but I am gonna actually make individual columns for the data on the list. That way it lends itself easier to do any kind of reporting. Also, it keeps things more streamlined, so we don't have to do any stringification of JSON, as well as parsing the JSON after the fact. So I think that our best option for this feature is going to be adding the individual columns. That way the columns are there, the data is well structured, and we can do reporting, which ultimately is what we want to do. I want to be able to do some reporting around this, add some, let me show you what I'm working on as far as reports are concerned. So I want to do reporting, you know, like something like this. I want to have reporting available. So I want there to be some level of feasibility for reports around, you know, around everything on this application. So that's ultimately the goal, right? All right, so that being said, let's I want to include some changes to here. So I'm gonna change this. I'm not gonna go with the multiple lines of text in JSON format that we would have to stringify and parse. Instead of doing that, we need to add the individual columns so the data can be saved. So task form layout, recurring bool next to the estimated duration pills. Make control appear below the custom time controls above the notes. Make the days of the week checkboxes with singular characters. So I do want to keep all that. For monthly, we would have, what did I copy here? Month, no, we can change this up. New columns to add, and we're going to be adding those to the, do I have it here already? Go back to our code. Add to this recurring field templates. So we're going to be adding, so right now we have the frequency. We're going to be adding interval. So PT interval. PT mode. And we're gonna be adding, I think we have day already. Let's go look at the app props. We have yeah, we don't have a day. So we need to add PT day. And then I do believe we have days of the week. Recurrence time. Let's go look at the table. Recurrence type was a choice. Oh, that just lets daily, weekly, like different options. But we need the day, the days of the week, and days of week. Ordinal, if I'm not mistaken, was where was ordinal at? Okay, so ordinal is first Monday of every month. Monthly interval 1. Weekday ordinal. Okay, so the ordinal would be like the day. Well, I'm trying to understand what, because it has day of the week as Monday, and then the interval is 1. So interval, I guess, would be the first, like implying it's the first. And then the ordinal would be, what would the ordinal be in this scenario? Educate me on what role the ordinal prop is for. Oh, okay. So what is, oh, interval would be like every other week, I'm assuming? Okay, so we would need ordinal. What else would we need? Go back to the original ordinal. Missing day policy. Missing day policy. I feel like that would be good, and this would be a choice. Would be, where is it? Clamp, skip, or rollover. Oh, just clamp and skip, not rollover. Clamp. Clamp and skip. Okay. Clamp would mean you're going to enforce it, by saying, okay, if somebody sets it to the 31st, if you select clamp, if you happen to be on leap year, 29th would be the clamp date, because that would technically would roll into the last day of the month. The alternative skip would mean, hey, if you select the 31st, but that month just doesn't happen to have a 31st date, it would just skip it. That's pretty straightforward. Start date I already have. Time zone I don't really think I need. And the end date is already there. So we are adding to track the data for additional options for the recurring scenarios. Questions we have? I think we covered everything. So we want to be able to have these columns, obviously these fields dynamically show up based on the options. List to me the JSON props that are make me a list. Make me a list of the JSON props that would apply based on daily, weekly, just so that I can have it to give to Claude. Example. I did not include time zone. I think that will work. Let's see what it plans. I mean, I made it as detailed as possible. Let me make sure everything's checked in as far as my code, so that I can review it easily, kind of see things stand out, so that I can review the code and make sure that things are done correctly, no mistakes were made. Also, as I've mentioned many times before, I like to add everything. Not only does it help me always be in touch with what's going on in the code and understand it, but it also allows me to give very detailed prompts to the AI to make sure that this is done the way that I kind of intend it to be, as best as possible. Right now it's trying to read the recurring task files, the helper files. So yes, you can go ahead and read those. Oof. I ran out of time on my task. Right now we're gonna prompt for recurring the heck? There's like a timer going, but now I'm curious if it even closed that session or not. Let me go see. My session's closed correctly. What happened to my other? Oh, it did close it. You can see that it closed it at 9:16 and I started the new one in at 9:16. Which is kind of weird. I don't even know what I pressed that caused it to close my task and move to the other one, which is a little bizarre. I'm still getting used to this keyboard. I usually have like a full-size keyboard, but for streaming I like the little clicking sound that it makes. So, such is life. Oh yeah, let's go see the plan. When a task is in edit mode, picture recurrent template ID is set. Can the user edit the template settings directly, or is the recurrent read-only? Yeah, I think it should be read-only. I mean, technically we could have it updated. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what we ideally what I think would happen or what would work well is user comes, opens a task. So example, recurring task. So they come in and they edit the form and you have a button. That allows you to create it, make this a recurring task. Once you make it into a recurring task, I mean, technically we have all the props for the parent. And thus, having that, we could technically update the parent from the child. I think it should be editable. Because, I mean, if you think about it, the edits that you're making are only going to apply to tasks going forward. The previous tasks already have a completion date. The whole concept behind a recurring task is just so that you can clearly see, okay, what do I have recurring today? You open that panel that allows you to see like a summary of the tasks that you have based on recurrence that would be applicable for the day, and it would allow you to just basically create the task for that day. And if you were to open a recurring task today, inner vision around the recurring task. Simply for the user to have the ability to show a console or dialogue that lists out the recurring tasks. By today, if there is a recurring task that applies to today or this week based on the recurring template. Then to the right of the recurring task in said dialog / console area, it allows the user to create said task for the day or schedule for the week. Kanban, it would then add the task. This is not a recurring template to modify, right? Like, we don't want to modify previous tasks as they are already closed technically. Perhaps it should be read-only, and if the user wants to edit in that same set dialog next to the button that allows for the creation of said task, we can have an edit icon. Or editing the recurring task itself. I think that would be the best thing. So when recurring on, when it is turned on, recurring task template gets created. The list and the newly created item ID gets assigned as a parent to the task that is currently open. When decoupling a task from its template, what title does the task keep? Inherits template title as its own, keeps the original store title. I think I had already answered that. Keep the original task title. How should PT days of the week be stored? I think they should be stored as the abbreviated. We can leave that as is. This lady. She wants to join us today. I haven't been using AI here lately as much. Usually, I only honestly use it mostly on stream. I go to Claude. I don't think I've used that much. See, 9%, 6%. I mostly use it on stream, honestly. I was watching a video here recently with like saying a lot of this stuff you can get for free. Like you can actually use AI for free, and I'm thinking I might next year just do that. Because I think a lot of the stuff I can just do leveraging several of the free services and just combining as much as possible as I can. And then just do the good old school coding. Just code it myself. Sometimes I feel like Lady's like a cat dog. Should add her like a little bed right here on my desk. I've seen some crazy things where people have bed beds on the desk. Bed, the desk. Like this. Obviously they're for cats. I have yet to see one for dogs. Is there one for dogs? I'm curious now. Obviously I misspelled it. I mean, that was a Pomeranian. I have seen these where they can literally go up on a loft and be able to look out the window. I don't know. Desk pet bed. Oh wow, Uplift Desk sells one for dogs on the desk. That's too funny. I can't believe they sell that stuff. That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, you can always just put something on your desk, but that is really funny. You can get away with doing that. Let's go back. What's going on? Oh, still cooking. My dog insists on sitting on my lap while I work. I need help finding a cozy solution. Here, again, proof that this stuff happens. Dogs insist on, while I work, finding something. We need to find something. I'm always skeptical about clicking some of these links. Ready to go? Oh, I think she's ready to go. All right. Bye. All right. All my tasks is run out of time. All right. What are we working on again? The example recurring task and recurring task are I have a planning category? nice, avocado green. So there you go. And return task. That's a little weird because I started this, it had 1 minute, but my flow timer is resetting. There's a bug there. Really, this whole time I've been using the tool. I don't know why it's saying 35 seconds. Or did I at some point start it? Just didn't remember. Let's see what it says. Nothing. So right now it's just adding this. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and add that too. And then the add props is gonna add my new values. I shouldn't really break anything. What is it changing now? Recurring tasks API. I'm just gonna let it go. See what it does. First comes to shove, we'll do some review of the code and find out if it messed up, made mistakes. Which is 100% possible. At least in my experience, it usually does. I don't know why it does. I want to figure out a way to lower the music when I'm talking. I think I just did. I don't know, maybe. I just don't know how to. I think that's it. I think that's how you make it work. Oh, let's see what it did. There's gonna be errors. Yep, there we go. Might be assigned based on outdated state of data on taskform.tsx. Oh, nice. Okay, so we have daily, which allows us to skip the weekends, repeat every 1 day. I thought daily was supposed to allow us to select Monday, Tuesday, weekly. Let's go look at week. I guess this will work. Daily would, I guess daily would be correct every 1 day. Or every 3 days. Give it an effective date. Weekly. You select the days of the week. Repeat every certain amount of weeks. Start date and end date. And monthly. You have day of the month. Nth weekday. Oh, I don't know about this. I mean, who's gonna understand ordinal mode and nth weekday? That's funny. Day of the month. Last day. Weekly every week. Effective date May 14th. End date May June 17th. Let's just make it weekly on Wednesdays every week. Oh, let me go fix the app. I didn't add any of the. Let's go fix the app. Yeah, we don't have the data points, so we need to add the tape. We need to fix it. And that's why we did this nifty tool in here that allows us to run the diagnostics and notice that we're missing all these. You can click on repair. And it automatically creates all of our columns for us, all of our lists actuated, and then we won't have that problem. All right, so this is going to be recurring weekly, every Wednesday, every week. It's going to run until June 24th. And now we have a save for the task. It's because we need to refresh maybe. Because everything else should be there. Alright, let's try it again. I'm gonna make this a recurring task weekly on Wednesday. Every week. And I want it to end on June 24th. I'm still getting the error. Why is it saying estimated seconds is supposed to be passed? I bet you anything on recurring tasks this thing added seconds. Or estimated seconds. There. Didn't have that. Look at that. You have another one? Estimated seconds. Did recur. There is no estimated seconds. Alright, so right? Once again, weekly. Nice. Okay, let's go look at the table. Nice, there it is. Look at that. Gonna be weekly. Okay, dude. Okay. Wednesday. Interval 1. Cool. I mean, obviously I'm gonna test others. So, but then the plan is in our Kanban board, I want to have an option in the Kanban board that allows us to click on a button and be able to open the recurring task console or the dialogue and allow us to manage our recurring tasks from there. You have a recurring task, you open the recurring tasks and you can create it either create my tasks for the week. Like if it was a Monday and you know, you can just click on create my tasks and it'll automatically add all of the recurring tasks for said week into this week. If it just happens to be a task that's every Monday, it would automatically create it for today, something that you have to work on for today. And I think that that's a good thing, right? Like that'd be pretty cool to have something that automatically creates your task for today or this week. Not necessarily for backlog. I don't want to get into the craziness of creating, you know, a bunch of tasks, of 50 something tasks for the year. If you want to go back a year, I think that's just ridiculous. We want to target more, what do you have as a recurring task that is applicable to this week or today? As a matter of fact, we could probably put the button right above or right below add task to say add recurring task. And that would automatically open that dialog that allows you to select tasks. We would also have to compare and contrast, right? So if the task is already created, then it shouldn't show up in the dialog because that task is already out there. You already created it for the week. You only want to create tasks that are not necessarily there. But that is going to be something that we can program or we can develop it as a feature the next time we meet. And also, look, I need to fix this. The image obviously was cut off. And my flow timer is always resetting. That's another bug I need to fix. Anyway, that's it for me today. I hope that helps. Shameless plugs. I am on YouTube and I am on YouTube and Twitch. If you want to follow me on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. If it's something that interests you, I'm always open to questions. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to help. If you're a developer that develops in SharePoint or just some general web development, I can try to help out. I might start, like, once I get closer to finishing this, at least where I feel like I'm gonna be finishing it, and maybe just do maintenance. Probably open like a poll or something to gauge what would be a good next little pet project to work on and go from there. Anyway, that's it for me. As I mentioned, I'll catch you in the next time. Peace.